Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know, again, it's been a long time since I've been on this channel and I had a lot of life changes. Last time I was on here, I told you guys I did start my own grooming business, which did free up a lot of time. And I was gonna make this channel kind of segue into my dog grooms, but I did get a negative comment, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinions and everything, but not really the idea of someone telling me how I shouldn't be recording my dog grooms, or especially the angles I was recording them on. But I do think that although that works for the groomer, the girl with the dogs, she is kind of my inspiration for that. That's her niche. That works for her. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't for me. I do better grooming when I'm not under any stress of all that stuff. So I'm actually not taking it into that form. And then on top of that, I actually ended up substituting because I do have my certification for elementary education. And so I went to go substitute just to, get a little extra money. It was only a 2-day job, turned into 4-day, turned into, can you just take over this class basically for the rest of the year? So I did. And as much as I was like, this isn't what I want to do, and it's not my actual aspiration in life, I feel really fulfilled and proud of myself for doing that, because now that it's over, I get to come back home and fully do the dog grooming on the side and recording YouTube videos, but most importantly, being with my baby again. But I feel good that yes, I can be with my baby again, but I did the job requirements. And the last week of school was so special. All the students that I didn't know how I was doing, because I've never been a full-time teacher, even though I have my certification. I had to substitute because taking the test to get certified took me so many years that I was just a substitute teacher. So I kind of fall under that realm of you have to have experience in order to be a teacher, but I can't gain experience because I'm not a teacher, so it's really frustrating. So it's nice having that full-time position for 2 months, being able to take care of a class. Although I didn't deal with grading, which was really confusing for me, because I'm like, if I'm certified, I should be able to. I'm on a Facebook group of Facebook group for substitutes, and a lot of them were able to grade, the full-time subs with certifications were able to grade papers, but I didn't get to the nitty-gritty of it all. But the good news about it is the principal did say that the students turning in papers and grades did go up by 4%, and he invited me to come back before school starts for their staffing announcement. To my knowledge, they don't have any available positions, because I applied for a lot for the next school year. But I don't know, a lot of people are like, wow, we never got invitations to a staffing announcement, so maybe that means something. I don't know. Again, it wasn't exactly where I want to go, but sometimes life takes you where you're needed, not where you expect it sometimes. So but I've really put this on the back burner because I'm also doing my no hands, I'm also doing my antique booth as well. So it's been a lot. I've been subbing, I've been grooming, and I've been doing my diamond paintings for my antique booth. So YouTube has really gone on the wayside. I'm probably never going to make money off YouTube either, because I pay for YouTube Premium where I don't have to see ads. And knowing that you have to put out ads in order to make money, I feel wrong doing that, because I don't even enjoy watching ads. So why would I want people to watch ads just for me to make money? It's just for pure enjoyment. So with all aside, we are going to review a movie I did watch back in March. I know it's May, I'm really behind, but I went and saw Death of a Unicorn back on March 31st. It released on March 28th of 2025. The budget was $15 million. Director was Alex Sharfman, sorry if I said it wrong. Producers Jenna Ortega, which was really interesting to learn. Jacob Einstein and Alex Sharfman. The premise of the movie is a weekend retreat has deadly consequences when a father and daughter accidentally hit and kill a unicorn while en route to find his billionaire boss who seeks to exploit the creature's miraculous curative properties. The cast is Jenna Ortega as Ridley, I'm wrong, Will Poulter as Shepard, Leopold, Paul Rudd as Elliot, Anthony Carrigan as Griff, Taya Leoni as Belinda Leopold, Sunita Mani as Dr. Bhatia. I am bad, and I'm going to put the text down below on these names. I'm sorry. Steve Park as Dr. Song, and Richard E. Grant as Odell Leopold. So this movie, I love unicorns, and so I knew my first thing, all my reviews are going to be spoilers. My first thing and note to myself when I was like, when I review this, I'm going to put this in the review. When the title is Death of a Unicorn, yes, the unicorn dies. And kind of, sort of in a way. But it does start with them unfortunately hitting the unicorn. And it's the unicorn baby that they hit. And it is very startling because Jenna Ortega's character, she touches the horn of the unicorn. And obviously it has magical properties. And she's like floating in this mythical, starry landscape, and her eyes are glowing, and she just sees literally like eternity. And then all of a sudden, like, she gets slapped into reality because Paul Rudd just starts bashing the shit out of the unicorn, trying to put it out of its misery. So yes, that was my first note. I was like, okay, when it says death of a unicorn, the unicorn does die, and it's pretty brutal. But however, they do go to his boss's house, where he's going to be the caretaker, I believe, for Richard E. Grant. Such a treat to see Richard. Seen him since Loki, when he played a variant of Loki, but I haven't seen him in a minute, so it was really nice to see him. He is super funny in this. They're all so funny. Richard E. Grant was funny, Will Poulter was funny, and Anthony Carrigan, I haven't seen him since the TV show Gotham. And then Will Poulter, I've seen him in so many things. Last thing I saw him in was Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where he played Adam Warlock, yeah. But they're all so funny, except for Jenna Ortega. I'll talk about that later. Richard E. Grant, he wants to exploit the unicorns. He knows about them. And so the unicorn baby comes back to life because they put it in the van, the remains in the van, and he kind of comes back to life. I like the scene when they're like, oh yeah, it's a creature, but we don't know exactly. It looks very familiar. And Will Poulter just breaks the ice. He's like, it's a fucking unicorn. Like, you just killed a unicorn. But the blood of the unicorn has, curative properties and can actually cure cancer. And Richard E. Grant's character is actually dying. And so he's putting forth a will, and Paul Rudd is basically hired to take care of the family once he passes away. But once they exploit the unicorn baby's blood to cure his cancer and to cure his illness and ailment, they start calling all their friends to cure cancer. So they start calling all of them to try to make money off of it. And as they're moving the baby unicorn, I really like this. It reminded me of Jurassic Park a lot when the two doctors are moving the baby unicorn. And it kind of reminded me of E.T. with the tubes and everything. And they're moving the unicorn, and it gets really dark. You hear big thudding footsteps or hoof stuffs, hoof prints. And the mom and dad are not happy that they have their baby. And the death of Dr. Song, when that horn goes straight through him, that was the best kill, in my opinion, of the movie. But they killed the doctors, and Richard E. Grant's like, oh, we're gonna have to go, there's parents, we're gonna have to go and get the parents as well. And so they go out, and that's where you see the scene where he's like in the trailer, and he's like, aren't you just magnificent? Well, the thing ends up killing him off too. The next favorite death was of the next doctor, Dr. Bhatia, and they send her out, and Griff is out trying to, like, you know, undo the gate and everything, and she's like, oh, it's clear. And they come again, kind of like T-Rexes, and literally like ping pong her back and forth, and they look dark. They're not the white, beautiful, honestly gorgeous unicorns. They're very muscular, very even when they do turn innocent, they're very misshapen than what you think unicorns. Usually you think unicorns like slender horses with the horn, but these are very bulky, very full in the face, just kind of weird proportion. But when they get dark, they have like dew claws, kind of again like a raptor, like that big claw out there, and the big hooves, and they're slobbering, and they have the gnarly teeth. And I think they split her in half at that scene. I can't remember. It's been a minute. But that was the next favorite kill of mine. Then Will Poulter. He uses the unicorn bone of the horn to basically get high. Because remember, when Jenna Ortega touched the unicorn's horn, she went to this mythical, to see eternity, basically. Well, so he uses it to get high. He snorts. He chops up the unicorn horn and snorts it. And so his eyes glow, and he sees eternity, and he sees the answers of everything. And so his idea is he wants to capture the male and female unicorn, mate them, and keep creating more babies, so they can keep exploiting the curative properties, so they could keep getting money, keep getting rich, all that stuff. And he kind of is the cause of his mother's death, because she's there to sacrifice herself, and he had, I think, a bow and arrow or something, that he had something, a slingshot, bow and arrow, I can't remember, it's been so long, but he had something that could have distracted the unicorn, and he just never used it. So she gets murdered very brutally by the unicorn. So I think it ends up being Paul Rudd, Will Poulter, and Jenna Ortega's characters in the very end, and Will Poulter, he ends up being gotten rid of because he captures the two unicorns, and he's like, okay, we're gonna start mating them. Well, they connect with Jenna Ortega, and I didn't really feel why, because they're like, oh, she bonded once she touched the unicorn's horn. That may be the only reason they bonded with her, but they're like, oh yeah, they had these really beautiful tapestries, which that had me thinking, ooh, if I collected tapestries, I could sell them in my antique booth. But anyway, they had antique tapestries to tell the legend of unicorns, and this has happened before. People will tame them, try to mate them, and then they go berserk. They tend to kill people, and there's basically no taming the unicorns. They will always, for history, want to tame them for curative properties. Well, Jenna Ortega's trying to tell them this, and she knows about it, and so they connect with her. But that's, I don't know, they said that they had to have an innocent maiden or something like that, and to me, she just wasn't that innocent. She wasn't that, not that she has to be good looking or anything, but she just was very, I feel like I've only seen her in Beetlejuice. Oh no, I've seen her in X as well. Is that what it's called? X and then Pearl? Yeah, that whole series. I saw her in that. Oh, and Scream. So I have seen her in a lot of stuff. I never saw her as Wednesday Addams, but I did see clips. And I just feel like she kind of plays the same melodic character. So she didn't come off very like caring and innocent and pure. She comes off very like her dad's trying to bond with her and she's a typical teenager, like loser to her dad. So that doesn't seem very caring to me, but whatever. The creatures, I guess, bond with her. So when Will Poulter's character's like, we're gonna mate them, blah, 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 they favor her over him and they end up literally kicking him in the ass. And he flies and dies. And then Paul Rudd gets hurt as well. I can't remember if that was intentional or not, but she basically has cured the properties. Oh yeah, Will Poulter had to like tie up the unicorns and they bond with her in that moment. And they turn white again and all nice and pure, but she never like untied them. I think that was the part that kind of annoyed me. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, she never really untied them. She could have in that moment. But their baby, as much as it's called Death of a Unicorn, that's why I was like, he does die, but kind of sort of in a way, because he comes back. The baby does come back. They're all reunited. Paul Rudd gets cured by the magical curative properties. I think they just see how important he is to Jenna Ortega's character. And so they're driving away, and remember that Griff was the only survivor other than those two, because he was escaping out the gate when the female doctor got torn to pieces by the two unicorns. So he's escaped out the gate, and he comes with the cops, and they see Will Poulter's character completely dead, all of them dead. And so they go to arrest Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, and they're back in the back of the cop car. Well, the unicorns, who are now fully back to being white unicorns, again, not the most good looking. I think that's mainly because we have to use CGI'd animals now. We can't use real life animals, which that's such a pull and struggle, because I did go see Mufasa as well with my daughter, because I always wanted her first movie to be The Lion King. My first movie seeing in theaters was the original Lion King, the animated Disney version, and then my niece's first Disney movie was the live action first Lion King. And so my daughter's first movie, technically second movie, but was Mufasa, and she did really well in that. But they're all CGI'd because it's a give or take, because it looks really bad, but it is preferred because at least no animals are harmed in the making of these movies. If you look at how films like Milo and Otis were made, that is such a horrific and tragic story to all the animals lost in the making of Milo and Otis. So I do prefer that they're not using real animals, but they just don't look good. But anyway, the unicorns who are bonded to Jenna Ortega, basically, you get the drift that they have to flip the car and make them crash. Now, it's kind of ambiguous. Do they live? Do they die? Most likely, even if they had injuries, the unicorns with their curative properties healed them, and everything probably ended up fine. I haven't seen it twice, so it was an okay film. I'm gonna rate it probably a C+. I don't remember my rating scale because, again, I've been taking a break from YouTube for so long, but it hasn't been on my rewatch. It wasn't cinematically beautiful. There was a lot of just missteps with the storyline. However, the comedy of the characters is what made it so good. And if I do see it again, I'll probably still laugh just as much. Again, the worst character for me was Jenna Ortega's character. She just was very flat and one note. She had a couple funny parts, but Griff, Poulter, Richard E. Grant, and let's see, I think even the mom at times was funny. But overall, pretty funny movie. I liked it for the laughs more than anything. Yes, the unicorns do die, but they do come back. So it's kind of like, oh damn, oh yay, oh damn, oh yay. But it was kind of scary. It was kind of a little bit mixed flavor of all of it, really. But overall, I might watch it again. I don't know. I haven't yet, but I am going to be coming back soon to also review and probably give a ranking as well to Final Destination franchise with Final Destination Bloodline. But with Final Destination, I'm going to break down the whole movie, how it relates to all the other movies, and rate the movies in how I feel, because I think my rating will be very different for most people's, and it's more of like nostalgicness for me with Final Destination. We'll get into all that in the review for Final Destination Bloodline. So please, if you did like this review of Death of a Unicorn, please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys thought of Death of a Unicorn. Did you see it? What were your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you find it humorous? Did you find it scary? And subscribe so you can see more reviews such as our next one, Final Destination Bloodlines. All right, thanks guys. Bye.